Yo, yo, Tony D back with another mega micro review of some indies. Totally having fun with these. We will start off with Dynamite, Blood Red. Totally enjoying this, the beginning of it. Love the artwork, love the simple, bold lines. Really works for me. Keeps the tone of the book, you know, where it should be. This is so to get you caught up, we're in a world where men are all zombified, and it is an infection, and there is, Purgatory is like the leader of her band of people, and it's all that universe, that Dynamite universe of all the female vigilantes or heroes, whatever you want to call them. So Purgatory is the leader, and a spaceship has landed, and it is Deja Thrones. It's Deja Thoris. So from Mars, one of the characters. So she has come to the planet, and they thought that she's there to help them, and they thought that she was from Draconian. It's like Vampirilla's home planet, which that matches exactly with her origin. She came from a planet full of vampires. So she is a detective on Earth right now, and they think that Deja is one of her people, and they want to, you know, talk to her. And then you get these real obscure characters from that universe. That's what I like. I like it when they bring in these characters that are overlooked, barely used, you know, the Z type, the B team. I dig stuff like that. They all have a place. And so she figures out real quick, like Deja, she like immediately learns their language and just totally escapes. And yeah, Purgatory is, she's wanting to control everything. So she is there. She believes she's the only person in the solar system who can save both their worlds. So both their worlds are in peril. So that's why she is here. And there is a science criminal from the haunted city of Bantoom. And she believes that his last attempt to conquer Barsoom was thwarted, and he was astrally projected his consciousness to Jason. I mean, it's crazy, right? You're getting into a lot of detail, and it's kind of where I get to a point where I don't want to know all that, man. Get to the action. So this Jason so what's happening on Earth with this plague of dead men is something that this Jason would develop, and she believes that he did it, and so they need to hunt him down and find him in order to get a cure, get things back on track. But Purgatory is very controlling, and so they find out that she actually has a man. Like, that's a sought after resource right now, is men that aren't infected, and she is keeping one from her planet at her house. And so now she's got to race back. I totally love the bat, to protect him from the two henchmen of Purgatory. But a part of that is he's infected, but he's not turning, so he could potentially be a ticket for the cure. So the narration's all cool, man. For a little, this is just a fun book. This is not it's not deep, it's not serious. And then you get a great intro of Sonya, Red Sonya. So that's cool too. But like I was saying, this is not meant to be a deep psychological read. It's a fun book. And, you know, I'm having fun with it, so I'll keep going. You know, I don't mind getting into stuff like that. It's cool, you know what I mean? Everything can't be serious. I think we've kind of moved away from that a little bit. I say that, but there's tons of fun books. It's just, I'm going to say it's me that kind of moved away from it, but it's cool to get back into it. But news from the Fallout, Totally love this series. This is the conclusion. And it is so unique that this whole thing is almost silhouettes. Very brilliant, very simple, minimalist, black and white. And there's times where you get hints of, I love how they just give you a brief, more details. And I'll show you some of that as we get in. But our characters that are trying to survive this, I'm calling it the rage virus that has infected everybody. They're trying to escape. It's very frantic. They're just running from it. So they run into a character that has faced this before, and he's holding them back right here. And that's the leader. There is a designated leader of these rage zombies. So he's holding them back so our main protagonist group can escape. And you don't need a lot of detail. It's in the vein of the zombie apocalyptic, let's survive in an impossible world to survive in. See, here's what I'm talking about. You get a little detail there. Totally love it. This is pretty unique to me. I don't think I've ever seen a comic that just leaned on silhouettes like this. And there's some banter here, like they know each other. So really, the main antagonist seems to be like a spirit. I don't think it's just a kind of like a Randall Flagg from The Stand. And so it's even more minimalist now, where it's just, this is brilliant, where it just gets into just narration. And they're in the dark, and you can just feel the tension. This is very well done. I don't think just anybody could pull something like this off, but you feel the tension. You feel like you're in the dark with them, and you feel the threat and the danger, and you just know what's going on. And then the gunshots create the light where you see what's there. And you end up where you're left with the character, the protagonist in the beginning, where he's alone now. It's like a bookend. So he's just finding out, yeah, he's alone. I really get into some books that it's like, I don't want to read a novel. I love the visuals, communicating what's going on, and this is perfect for that. So he finds a radio station, and he's getting the message out, and then he says the book title, this is News from the Fallout. So I really loved it when I read that. But he's just giving out basic info that, like, it's just, you're not going to survive, right? It's over with. But in a situation like that, you've got to do something, right? And he's doing what he can do. That's the whole thing with these apocalyptic, like zombie type stories, where there's just no way out of it. You know what I mean? But there's like that little sliver of hope. Yeah, this is News from the Fallout. And he sees the people that he was with, and they've been infected. And then it's just this is so great, where somebody was listening to him and it hasn't reached them yet. Like, this is the very beginnings of what's going on. And it's like, what a strange program. The end, like, totally love this read. Highly recommend it if you're into indie books, the zombie genre, and simplicity. Checks all the boxes. Bam, Terminator Metal. Love this. It's an anthology style book where each chapter or each issue is a different story with a beginning and an end. And I pretty much figured this one out before I got to the end, but it still was shocking. So they're in a camp that the Terminators have set up, where they've gotten to a point, the Terminators, where they need human resources to dig through spare parts to survive. And these are T600s. These are old models. Totally love that, going back. And the narration sets up, the plot trigger, and they're talking about a base that the Terminators know nothing about, and how it is set up and fortified where they just can't, the Terminators cannot get in there. And this one guy, he believes that his wife made it there and he wants to find out. And so they start plotting an escape attempt to get to this base. I believe they called it Freedom Base. You know, how appropriate is that? Oh, they call it Eagle 1. So that's a T600. I love how it's different. You know what I mean? Like, it does look a bit more the beginning stages of building a robot. It's less intricate. It looks bulky, less maneuverable. So that would give you, yeah, you have a better chance of getting out than, boy, if you had like a T1000 up in there, even a T800. So this is the, you know, plotting, and this is their go. They get a group together, and, you know, to cut it short, man, they get it. They get out. And this is where I started figuring out what really is going on. And yeah, they make it. It's a great escape battle. The action is very kinetic. The artwork's good. And you even have, like, the Terminators are talking about it, like, you know, 70% of their forces are destroyed. So it's there's a lot of analytical stuff that I think it's pretty cool. So they get to a point where, you know, they get out, and they make it to Eagle 1. And the character that was talking about his wife, seeing if she was there, he's wounded. So they make it back, and this is where it gets pretty insidious, where he's like, you know, we have no record of her, but maybe she was somewhere else. But you really figure it out. And he turns on him, man. It's a heel turn. I mean, it's pretty brutal, man. He just knocks her to death, and then he opens it up, and what a great panel. That's good artwork. Declan Shalvey, man, he's good, dude. He gives me that Daniel Warren Johnson vibes. It's great artwork. But yeah, it's over, man. Like, Eagle 1 is done. And then there's the talking to the mole, and they have his wife. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought maybe this guy was a Terminator, but they have his wife, and they postpone her execution. And he's just like, how many times do I have to do this? And it's like very insidious, you know, as many as Skynet requires. I love this anthology book. I think it's a sleeper book. I think a lot of people, I mean, I guess if you're not into Terminator stuff, I get it, but I enjoy it. So there you go, man. Get that indie.